Hello, hello. How are we? Good afternoon, good morning. How are you, Trav?
Yeah, going well. How are you?
Very good, mate. Very good. We got a packed crowd in the house tonight. I think we hit 1,300 registrations. It's going to be our biggest one all year, which is absolutely epic. Welcome everyone in the. It's going to be huge, mate. Welcome everyone in the chat. Already nearly 200 live. Let us know where you're coming in from. Seeing a lot of people flying in already. Hey, Kenvin from Vancouver. We've got Jimmy from South Carolina. Ross from California. Hey, Steve. We're Nelson from Colorado.
Brooklyn,
Michigan.
Oh, WA. Good old WA.
The bra present here, Maroubra. Idaho in the house. Hey, Julianne. Awesome. People from Jersey, St. Louis. We got a packed schedule for you all today. I'm very excited to get into it. I'm going to be having 90 minutes of power. We're going to bring up the slides in a second. I just want to welcome everyone on board. We'll kick off in about a minute as everyone gets introduced. Make sure you let us know in the chat where you're coming in from. We've got a lot of new data and content we've been putting together. I finished my slides late last night. So we've got some exciting things we're going to be sharing today. And yeah, I'm very excited for it. Already 200 live, which is fantastic. Well done for everyone tuning out. Missouri, Frederick, Kevin, Paul can't hear. I think other people can hear us, Kevin.
Yeah.
I think people are able to hear us because we're asking questions. So keep maybe refresh the page. I want to just start off by asking a little bit of a couple of questions in the chat, just so Travis and I can get an understanding of who's in the crowd, so we can really tailor today's session for all of you. Thank you for those who filled out the survey. We've been able to go through all the survey results, so we hear what you guys are after and what pain points and challenges you have. I want to know, though, just in terms of crypto, who here is who has bought crypto, their first bit of crypto in the last 12 months? Just say yes if you've bought crypto in the last 12 months, if this is your first purchase. No if you bought crypto before 12 months ago. I basically want to know who's new to crypto in the space. A little yes if it's been less than 12 months.
Heaps of yeses
coming through. Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's maybe put a number in the chat, like what number best fits the years that you've been in crypto. So you can put in less than 1 year, just put 1. If you've been in crypto for 2 years, put 2, 3 years, 3, etc.
Put a 0 if 0.
0 if 0 if today's the first day. 0. 1 year, 5 years. Okay, cool. 8 months, less than a year. Cool. So, a lot of new people to crypto. That's great.
Harry there with 10 years.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Welcome, Harry. Get you up on stage. Now, what about, I want to know from a strategy perspective, put in a yes, be honest, who still isn't feeling truly confident about their overall strategy? So put a yes if you're not feeling confident about your strategy, or no if you're ready to rumble. It'd be good to know who's in the crowd. Paul, yes. Yep, cool. Yes, great. Okay. That's good. Strategy is one part that we're going to really focus on today. Yeah, great. Okay, awesome. We're in the right crowd. Fantastic. Let's jump into it. So I want to bring up my slides. We've got some brilliant content today. Actually, one more question. Sorry, just so I know it. How many people have come to one of our masterclasses before? Maybe just put in the chat if this is your first masterclass with Collective Shift, if it's your second, third, fourth, fifth, just so we know how many people in the room. We looked. I think a lot of people have seen some of our sessions. Some of you might be new. Different strategy, confident. First, brilliant. Well, that's great because today's session is going to be completely new anyway. So even if you have come to one of our sessions before, today's session is really tailored towards around this, front running of the final wave of crypto adoption. There's so much institutional, inflows of money coming in that we want to get you guys set up and ready for action. Now, we know your time is valuable. That's why today's session is going to go for 90 minutes. We're going to have time for Q&A at the end. But we understand all of you are busy, whether you're running businesses, you're an executive, you're in your career, family, whatever it might be, busy investing. We want to get through as much as we can because we know knowledge and information is not the problem. There is, infinite amounts of information and knowledge that you can get in crypto, and that's not really the problem. It's about cutting through that. So we want to just say, first of all, well done for joining today. This is going to be a really important briefing. Every bit of information, data today that, and the intelligence that we put together is really about helping, 6, 7, 8, even 9-figure portfolios grow by following, institutional data. So the real key takeaways that you're all going to get today, there's going to be 5. One is that the institutional wave is actually already here. It's not coming. Right? And 59% of institutions have increased their crypto allocations in 2025, yet you don't see this online. All right. So we want to help you front run the final wave. We want to share why inflation is a silent, tax on your wealth, and why staying 100% in fiat currency and cash is killing your wealth. We're going to talk about the number one mistake sophisticated investors make when getting into crypto. We're going to give you a clear roadmap for turning your crypto gains into real world wealth, and how you can actually retire on cash flow, not capital gains. How to optimize your digital real estate to rent this digital real estate to avoid capital gains that compounds over time, that generates cash flow. All right. You guys, does that sound all right? You guys excited? Would you like to hear about these things? As I was writing them, I'm like, this is some pretty cool stuff. I'm excited to share it, to be honest. There's some really cool stuff that's happening behind the scenes that we're excited to jump in. Tamer, I like the way you're thinking. Great. Yes, this is good. You guys just want to make sure you're in the right room. Cash flow is king. Amazing. Yep. John, yes, please. Yep. Okay, great. Awesome. We're ready to rumble. Now, a little bit of a live attendance bonus that we want to share with you guys at the end. If you stay right to the end, we're actually going to give away our exit strategy workbook. It's a PDF that our clients pay thousands of dollars for. So we're going to give that away for free, plus do a 30-minute Q&A with us at the end to get through all the questions. Now, really quickly, a couple of ground rules today. We are not talking about any of the noise, chaos, nonsense that is crypto. We're cutting through it. We're only going to be focusing on the signal today. We're talking about strategic action. You're right. Today's not about gambling and speculating and trying to find the next altcoin that's going to 100x tomorrow. That's not what we're about. We're about growing our wealth. All right. And number 3 is please respect the room. We've got a lot of different people from a lot of different places around the world that are managing significant capital. This is a sophisticated investor event. All right. So please, understand that and utilize that in the chat. And anything that we share today, of course, is informational purposes only. And we don't have all of your individual circumstances at play. Now, today's session, who's it for? If you are managing $100,000 in digital assets, or you're looking to deploy more than that over the next 12 months, today is for you. If you're less than $100,000, all right, or less than $50,000, you're not going to be able to really deploy strategically. All right. If you are a business owner, executive, professional, and you're looking to protect your capital and you're looking to seek, to preserve that as well as, strategies to grow it, today is for you. If you also value professional guidance and you're willing to invest, money to get that professional guidance, today is going to help you out. Today's not for you if you're looking to get a, get quick rich scheme, want a day trade, want to hold random altcoins down 80%. And not listen to any sort of support or recommendations. Today is not going to be for you. All right. So if that is for you, please honestly just leave the stream now. I'd rather just focus on the people that are here for the right reasons. Now, what is happening behind the scenes? There is a huge amount of inflows happening right now in crypto that people are not talking about. Over 3.24 billion flowed into Bitcoin ETFs in October alone. All right. This is growing in a crazy growth rate. We are in the middle of the S-curve adoption of crypto. Global M2 money supply is expanding. We have passed the early adopters phase, but we have this final wave of adoption that you still have the opportunity to front run before crypto becomes completely mainstream and it acts like the stock market. All right. The wall of money that is happening right now is coming in at a rapid rate, but yet it is not seen online. It's not seen in the headlines because this is happening behind closed doors. What we're sharing today with you guys is data that conversations are being had behind closed doors that they don't want you, the retail, to know because you, the retail, are the exit liquidity. All right. This has always happened in any new technology, form of money, form of wealth. The institutions are the people that want to accumulate, force the prices down, all right, and sell into us. All right. But what's actually going on is we have this opportunity to front run the final wave. All right. And this supply shock that's happening, there's a lot of Bitcoin and crypto that's being bought with a falling supply, which is pushing the price higher. And there's going to be a supply shock very soon that we want to make sure you guys are prepared for. The market, based on ARK research, is predicted to hit $11.71 trillion by 2030. Right? Based on that ARK investing research paper, that would put Bitcoin at $710,000. That's a 7.5x from here if we were to hit that number based on ARK research. The reason we're moving so fast and the market is moving so fast is there's finally the green light from regulatory clarity. Trump is pushing crypto. Executive orders have been signed. The Genius Act has been passed. Stable coins are now in compliance. All right. Nation states are entering and they've finally got the green light to buy. And that is why so many institutions are now coming at this fast, but they are delayed by their own ability to get the paperwork done and have the meetings and all the paperwork that happens. So we are in that position where we know they're coming, half of them already here, and you can finally front run that piece before everyone else. All right. And this is not available. Crypto is available 24/7 to anyone in the world. That has never happened before. It's always been restricted to the wealthy. All right. But I want to share about what's actually happening behind closed doors. This is what the institutions, the big boys, don't want you to know. That you, by literally holding cash, the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, whatever dollars you hold, it is literally bleeding out. It is a melting ice cube. Day after day, hour after hour, week after week, your capital is being eroded by the silent tax, which is inflation. Now, they don't want you to know this, but what's actually happening is that they adjust the inflation calculation to make it look better than it actually is. Who here has felt the effects of inflation by going to the supermarket, by filling up the car, by rent, by buying property? Who here, just put a yes in the chat. Have you felt the effects of inflation? Do we all here believe that inflation is actually 3 or 4%? No, that's the calculation that they want to tell you it is. It is far, far higher. All right. Back in 2015, if you had $100,000 in your bank, by 2025, 10 years later, you have lost 30% of your purchasing power. 30%. All right. That's at a 3 to 5% annual erosion. The reality is it is way higher than that. All right. So not only the debasement of currency, but you are also buying assets, your business, your income, your property. It's all valued in fiat currency. It's all valued in a devaluing currency. It's the silent tax that's killing us all. All right. The brutal math is that every year we hold dollars, the continuous, inflation that happens, the debt the US government are in, close to $36 trillion now, continues to erode the valuation of your currency away. Now, you guys are here for one reason. It's not because there's a lack of information. There's so much information online, all right? There's over 1 million cryptocurrencies out there. 99% of them are just pure noise, all right? 57% of people cite overload of information when getting into crypto. You have got conflicting advice from influencers. There's no framework for evaluation, and you have paralysis by analysis, all right? Is everyone here? Let me know in the chat. Is this, resonating? Familiar boat? Do you guys feel that there's an information overload? Like, are you overwhelmed with information, or do you have the exact right information and you're just here to check out what's going on? Let me know in the chat. Yes, absolutely. Everyone's got an opinion on crypto now. I've been doing this for 9 years, and I feel as though the longer I'm in, the further I'm in this space, the more and more opinions there are that just continue to be wrong. Cool, great. The other one is the custody risk. Crypto is rife with scams. I've seen people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen people lose their house. I was speaking to a business owner recently that lost $500,000 from a phishing attack with his crypto, lost his entire crypto portfolio. He was a business owner. Travis, how many people have been seen scammed in like outside? It's crazy.
Oh, it's pretty awful. I mean, the number of onboarding calls the team have done where people have either lost it on an exchange or they've had some sort of setup where they've made multiple people have access to it and just lost out. So some of it, it's just really avoidable stuff, but just not knowing because the space is complicated.
Yeah. Is scams bothering anyone else? Karen, yes. Anyone else? Have they seen scam, been scammed,
Yeah.
worried about it? Like, this is you are your own bank. We want you to become your own bank. All right. But like the scams are at another level.
Yeah, very sophisticated. Some of it, yeah. One of them was someone spoofed being the exchange, and you go through the messaging that was sent to them. You're like, actually, this is pretty believable stuff. You could know better, but ultimately, they took advantage of the moment and what was happening. And you look at the message and go, no wonder the person got trapped in this. It's messy.
Yeah, I talk about the tuition fee in crypto. Everyone that comes into crypto pays a tuition fee. Just hopefully doesn't wipe you out.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
The other one that I hear a lot that no one talks about is the spouse approval problem. All right. From the partner's perspective, you have a partner that is not in crypto. They think crypto is gambling. They've built so long with time to build their own wealth. And now you're out here like, seeing news about crypto. It's used for the dark web, like blah, 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 blah. This is a very important point, because if your partner isn't on board with this and they don't understand what's actually happening, then this is also going to hold you back as a partnership to grow your wealth.
Yeah.
All right. It's a difficult one.
That not even just the partner is the worst bit, but the family shame bit of it, where people are going, Ben, how many members have we had conversations with, or we have our in-person events and they go, guys, I still haven't told my partner. And then they go, Travis, I want to talk to you about how I can bring this up with my partner from a psych perspective.
Literally.
And it's like, guys, like, we got to stop pretending this is something to be ashamed of or something to hide away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is. And when you bring these, your partners on board, this is where things get, really interesting and exciting.
For sure.
The other one is the tax. Not only like how much you have to pay with tax and, actually calculating it, but like, if you don't have this properly optimized, you get absolutely smashed on tax. No matter where you are in the world, unless you're in, tax-free jurisdictions like Dubai or something like that, it is a big gap between the knowledge of what you know and the tax of crypto. And there's a few strategies that you can utilize, but like, I've not met anyone, Travis, in the world that likes paying tax. I don't know anyone that, I've never had someone tell me, Ben, please don't tell me how to optimize my tax. Please tell me how to reduce my tax. I've never heard anyone say that.
No, I think particularly, given, I was born American and have lived in Australia for, a decade and a half. And I think both countries, most people equally hate the tax man, as they would say. But on the other side, like, hiding from it is not a good. We spoke to a member a couple of days ago who was hasn't paid tax on their crypto for 8 years. And is avoiding the tax bill. And we're like, mate, this is going to be a rough go for you. You got we'll help you get through it, but you can't play this game anymore.
Yeah, correct. And if you get ahead of this, you can actually optimize and save so much money on tax.
Correct.
All right. But the big problem is why none of this happens is because the time poverty problem. Everyone is busy. All right. Businesses demanding more attention, right? Careers require more focus. You've got family, screaming at you, needing more time at home. As much as I love to come to work at 7 a.m. and leave at 8 p.m. and do crypto all day, by the time I get home, the missus, she's not happy. She needs a bit more time and attention outside of crypto. Like, relationships require time. It's impossible to ask any investor to monitor hundreds of thousands of cryptocurrencies, hundreds of thousands of news articles, track all of the on-chain developments, track all the tokens, know when to sell, know when to buy, follow the market sentiment. Like, it literally, we have 18, 19 full-time staff plus part-timers. We've probably got a team of 20, 25 people covering crypto. All right. With a team of 25, we're getting there. If you're on your own, absolutely impossible. And this is why, like, so many people make poor decisions. And like, it's not, anyone's fault. It's just like the way of the world. It's so difficult, to get across this. This is why the institutions win, is because they can go and hire hundreds and hundreds of people to do the work. All right. And then you get told that you have to pay tax, and, God forbid, you actually want to spend the money. Like, you get taxed before you spend it. Like, it's just, the world is backwards, and it does not help the everyday person at all.
Yeah.
Travis, the exit strategy confusion. This is another big one that so many people just don't understand in crypto. And it's a big pain point or a fear of exiting too early, too late.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talk a lot about the inverse curve of opportunity versus psychological kind of feelings. And what we tend to see is that at peak mania, when people are most ready to get in, is actually one of the worst times to get in. And when there's peak dissension and almost this like, this is the death of crypto, that's where we've seen those kind of generational gains come through. But yeah, the way that plays out across those areas you've highlighted there around that premature exit is like, wait, this is, that I'm a bit fearful here, so I get out. And the number of conversations again where members have gone, oh guys, I sold out a few weeks ago and now I'm wondering when do I get back in because we're on the climb again. I go, okay, well, yeah, it's more about like how much pain are you going to defer. The round tripping is something we've talked about multiple times. We brought on a member earlier this week who's round tripped through 3 cycles, who just started working with us but had been through 3 cycles, and we're talking about 7 figures of round tripping, which is pretty horrendous when they're doing what they're doing. And then that really creates that emotional paralysis, which is like, guys, I don't really know what to do here anymore, so I'm just going to let things happen to me, and because I'd rather not be wrong, so I'll just let the market punish me for it.
Totally. And hoping and holding. Yeah, I was speaking to a client this morning, has over 7 figures in Bitcoin, and round trip the last cycle, and literally is now working with us to build out this exit strategy, which is the most important part. Right. And really with this, like, a little bit about like who we are, if you're relatively new to Collective Shift, are we hiring? We might put that for a different masterclass. Sorry, David, we'll get through the content to help people. But over the last 3 years, audited returns, this is audited by our accountant, our portfolio returns cumulatively over the last 3 years is up 499%. Whilst the S&P, is at 64% over the last 3 years, that outperformance has been close to 8x. And, the last 3 years, we've consistently way outperformed the S&P. And we believe that crypto plays a big part of a portfolio. Bank of America is now advising up to 4% of people's portfolios in crypto. This is happening at a rapid rate. And the verified returns is really important for us. I'll share a little bit more about, this and, how we've been outperforming in our process throughout today. But, a little bit about me and, why are we here doing this? Well, I've been in crypto now for 8 years. Collective Shift is the research company that I founded close to 5.5 years ago now. I've been serving clients around the world. I've done a TEDx talk on crypto. I speak around conferences and events, literally globally, from Dubai, US, Australia. And our company is now one of the leading crypto research companies in the world. We're trusted by the major players in the world. Coinbase are a client of ours, including SwiftX and CoinSpot in Australia. I personally got a following of about 110, I think, 1,000 people across the world that I help build their portfolio through proper crypto investing strategies and principles. And, I personally have been burnt by crypto gurus in the past. I used to work for a crypto YouTube influencer back in 2017, and I lost a lot of money. And, I wanted to turn that around, and I wanted to, build a business that was based on trust and transparency. And now I've been able to work with an amazing team, which you're going to meet some of them today, to help you, really cut through the noise and give you, really, quality insights to front run this final wave of adoption. But I'll hand over to you, Trav, to give a bit of intro.
Yeah, Ben, you and I have worked together for 6 years now, which is longer than some people's relationships. And we've kind of seen the ups and downs and the booms and busts of it all, and the euphoria and then the dystopian view that people kind of tend to adopt. But yeah, my background is blended between business and psychology. Have a bachelor's psych and a MBA, and my real focus has been on coaching and working with people in the finance and executive space for a very long time. I've worked with the likes of Combank, PNN, and a number of others. And one of the things I bring to the team, aside from running the product and the success side, which is who you work with once you join, if you join, and then the other side of it is very much looking at the behavioral bit. So I work one-on-one with our platinums to work through, hey, this is what's on my mind, or this is the thing I'm struggling with. What can I do? What are some of the human-based, research-based tactics to overcome this? Because finance traditionally isn't something where people talk about psychology very much. And we found actually it's one of the key differentiators between performing and not performing is, that Ben and the researchers and the analysts all work really hard to scrape the market and understand where things are going. But if you don't execute because you're fearful, the strategy really doesn't matter. And so we bring that combination between Ben and I to really help you move forward for having a clear strategy, understanding where you're going, and then having the behaviors to underpin that.
Yeah. And I literally worked one-on-one. We have worked one-on-one with thousands and thousands of clients, young, old, new to crypto, experienced investors, non-experienced investors. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's not about the person. It's about the process. And that process is what we use personally, and work with our clients as well. And we've got an amazing team. I might actually bring up if they're available. I think they are, DT and Reese. So we've got David and Reese, who are part of our member growth team, and David and Reese, essentially, their jobs at Collective Shift is to is essentially on the enrollment side. So, our clients that look to join Collective Shift, they'll jump on a call and kind of see if it's a good fit and kind of work through the programs and start to build the personalized game plans for our programs and the clients. And you guys have been very busy. I might start with you, David. You've been flat out on the calls recently. What's the sentiment like, and people getting excited for 2026?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think right now, with this new wave of institutional adoption into the space, it's causing a lot of people to take interest, and a lot of sophisticated investors in traditional markets, property, stocks, shares, bonds, they're all looking to crypto now, thinking this is probably the next opportunity. We're seeing the debasement of our currency. We're seeing inflation. Since 2020, our dollar has been degrading so much, and these conversations keep coming up. How can I secure my wealth? How can I grow my wealth and hedge against what's happening in the world currently? So it's a very exciting time. It's a very exciting space. The market looks like it's down at the moment, but these are the best opportunities, as we've seen in the past. The best opportunities are when the market is in full fear mode. So let's have a conversation. If you guys are looking to jump into crypto, or you're keen to get some sort of strategy in order, Reese and I will be available. Reese, if you have any other thoughts around it, man.
Yeah, 100%, David. I mean, like I said, it's been great, over the past couple of months working, especially with new clients. And this is the best thing I think about it, is the fact the market, as you mentioned, is pretty choppy. Let's face it, it's not been the easiest couple of months for a while. But the reality is, look, we're still down. I think it's about 37% at the moment, which, in bull markets is usually absolutely fine. Obviously, it looks a lot scarier because the monetary figures, well, look, they're obviously a lot higher. But I actually had a couple of clients join this morning.
I just saw that.
Yeah. It literally hasn't bothered them at all. And I always ask, for me personally, it's always, what are your goals? Like, why have you taken 30, 40 minutes out of your day, to talk to me? And it's usually the same thing. It's to actually have an actual game plan, and to actually have a sales strategy as well. Because so many people make a lot of money, and they just give it all back to the market because they don't have that kind of sell strategy in place. So, look, I had a quick chat with, obviously, David this morning. We have freed up quite a bit of time throughout the day. So, really look forward to speaking with you all. And, let's get to work.
Thank you, guys. So, basically, as we go through today, full transparency, this is going to be an epic session of a lot of value. You guys are going to take a lot away. For those of you that are looking for our support and one-on-one coaching and how we work with our clients, we'll share a little bit of that at the end. We've got a couple of spots left for this calendar year, which is exciting. And then basically the process is you'll speak to David or Reese to see if it's a good fit for us and a good fit for you. And these will be the team members you'll speak to later on. So thank you, gentlemen, for all your help, and we'll see you guys in the chat.
Cheers, guys.
So personally, the real difference, I think, of why we've been successful and why we've continued to have outperformance in the market is because, it's not this kind of gambling casino approach where you just go and buy a bunch of altcoins and hope for the best. It works on a process, data driven. It's no emotion. It's a 3-pillar framework that we take to invest in altcoins that we're going to share with you guys today. And it's not about you having to be a computer scientist and be some sort of tech wizard to be able to do this. We've built the support and the platform to help others, execute the same strategy so we can win together. And that's really the business model of Collective Shift. And, I made life-changing amounts of money in crypto over the last few years, primarily, again, getting in early before the institutions, before, retail arrive, and being able to execute on those, I guess, altcoins is something I'm going to share with you guys today to get a bit of insights. It's the same stuff we share with Coinbase, CoinSpot, SwiftX, and really where our research has come through has been really about timing. Timing is really important in crypto, and that's why we're posting this masterclass, because, ultimately, If you buy at the wrong time, it can be very, very, very painful. And we're in that, mid-cycle correction right now where this is a very normal part of crypto where we have, 20, 30, 40% corrections to take advantage of. This was our first buy of the 2022 cycle. We bought Bitcoin at 16,000 within a couple of days. Solana, got at $22 that then went to about 260. Syrup, over 1,000% returns. I recently took profits and I'll share that process with you in a second. Pendle, another one up to 2,500%. Another MemeFi project we got in all this year, up 1,000%. And really, I think the key difference, for a lot of people, for our clients, especially someone like Jamie, business owner, he grew his portfolio up 150% in 5 months based on the strategy and structure of the assets he has in his portfolio, not listening to what influencers have to say, because by the time you get it online, you're always too late. All right. Another one was Wes, one of our long-term clients in the US. He's had 5 years with us now and really talks about, how he has changed his fundamental or foundational strategy for crypto. Gaining a lot of confidence and having a team by his side to make decisions has been a real big shift. And that's why he's, been able to get ahead. Ron, a busy dad, he paid off his membership, for 4 years. The first few months, he made 200% from one of the altcoins that we shared that we got in early. And again, I'm going to share that process with you guys today. But the other side, and Travis, this is the big part, where people forget in crypto is that pain of losing money. FTX was the biggest, blow up of crypto ever, since Mt. Gox essentially. And again, we were able to warn our clients back in 2022 to get their money out of FTX before it blew up, save millions of dollars. It's a painful thing, losing money in crypto.
Yeah, I remember we were running a internal strategy session in Melbourne with the team, and the team had been kind of watching this for several weeks and notifying members, hey guys, we don't think this is going in the right direction. This is literally weeks in advance. And then in the room, we said, oh, look, hey guys, it's imploded. That's what happened. And there were notifications that went out to our members weeks. And the last one was 3 days before it collapsed. So the number of messages we got from members who were like, you guys literally saved us, combined millions and millions of dollars across all those members who followed our advice and got off. Because we look at these things and we go, who is this? And we're not paid by those exchanges. So we understand, hey, there's if there's downside here, we're going to tell people about it, because that's part of our role, really. You're too busy. You don't have time to watch all these exchanges and go, who's legit?
100%. And that's really where I think a lot of the feedback comes from our clients that just sign up. This was just in the last few days, feeling a lot better. A week later, it was a lot to wrap my head around. Realized I finally had no clue what I was doing. Find the website super easy to navigate with online courses. Another one of our clients just, a couple of weeks ago sold 85% of his Bitcoin and bought an apartment in Greece while the market was trending downwards because we had a strategy. Or another one of our clients that, has had a great portfolio structure this year and has minimized, the downside while maximizing upside, because without that advice, you just listen to people online. It's, you wouldn't have a dominant Bitcoin portfolio. Or another one of our clients that rolled, 50% of his physical gold into cash, and he's now deploying per week. And he just thanks me, Simon, and the whole team, because without that, there would be no discipline or fortitude to navigate this phase of the bull market. And that's really where this insights I'm about to share with you guys, I want to really make clear, does not just come from me, does not just come from Travis. We have 18 full-time staff. We have over 1,100 clients globally, 120,000 followers. We've got a full team. We've got offices in Melbourne. I spend my time between Melbourne and Miami. We have a lot of clients and, focus across 21 different countries. Our clients are based, which is absolutely wild. And our mission is really to become the world's most trusted, crypto community, and we're well on the way to do that.
Yeah.
Now let's get into the, the real, content now of what we're going to share with you and how to front run the institutions. It comes down to the 3 pillars, all right? And we're going to share with you these 3 pillars. Number 1 is the institutional alignment. This is the engine. This is actually understanding what they're doing. The second one is how to defend yourself against the silent killer, which is inflation. All right. The third one is the systematic exit. This is the safety valve. This is making sure you don't miss the top. This is not, about, trying to just guess the market. It's about how to actually systematically take profits and not get caught up in the emotional wave that is crypto. Joanne, do you cover Singapore? Yes. Singapore, we've got clients from Canada, Singapore, Dubai, New Zealand, Australia, US, India, Germany.
We've got nearly 40 countries last we checked.
40. Okay.
Yeah.
thought it was 21 last time I counted.
Yeah, I know. No, it's creeping in from all over the place.
Wild. So the first one, the first pillar, the biggest problem with the institutional alignment is that all the information you hear online is not from institutions. It's from entertainers that put out content online. You get conflicting information. There's hundreds of thousands of crypto tokens. They have super high risk of rug pulls, meaning that, they're most likely going to be scams. And then also the big part is just like information overload. The solution really is you need a really high institutional grade, ruthless process to analyze tokens that are actually worthy of investing. 99% of the work we do at Collective Shift is actually finding what not to invest in. All right. And then updating that based on where institutions are allocating and then updating their data.
Yep.
TB's just asking, can we adjust your Zoom boxes back the way we had them before so Travis aren't blocking the slides and content? So we might go back to the other way. Is that a bit better? No, there's a little bit. We're going to read the text out anyway, folks. There's a lot to sort of cover here. And I know if you're on phone, it can be a little bit hard to see. But the real process of like analyzing the altcoins and the way to look at this is a few phases. All right. The first one is understanding product market fit. All right. Altcoins and cryptocurrency tokens at the end of the day are like speculative startups. All right. They are early stage businesses that are trying to find product market fit. And we need to find, are they generating revenue? Once we find out if they're generating revenues, we need to look at the tokenomics. We need to understand how the tokens work. Like, how does the back end of the token work? It's not like a share when you go and buy a business that the share then equals the value. There's no EBITDA multiples on crypto, all right? There's a different valuation metric. Then you need to look at who's backing the token as well. Is this just retailers buying or is it VCs, right? And I want to share my screen because I want to show you how this actually looks like to give you guys a bit of an insight as to what this comes out to in the platform. Hopefully this works. We have this. Can you guys see that? Great. This is the Collective Shift platform, right? Now in the Collective Shift platform, this is what our clients get access to. It's basically our own platform. And in this, we have what's called the shift list. So this is the process we take on each altcoin that our research team, is updating. And in the back end, we have an algorithm that scores and rates tokens to give ratings on the assets. Now, as an example, Maple or Syrup is one that we've been, heavily investing in, and we bought in back early this year, back in April. It was about close to, I think it was about 5 or 6 cents that we shared this. Went on a massive run. We actually took profits on Syrup about, I think 3 or 4 months ago. It was up about 500%, which was a great run. And the reason it had such a great run was because of the token economics and the reasons why the token performs well. This is what the institutions and this is what data-driven insights gives you. When you look at the token, and we look at all of the different tokens that we invest in, obviously, but the big part is that the revenue that this token creates, the business that is Syrup, the revenue goes back to token holders. And issuers of the token earn a percentage of the interest that the platform creates. So essentially, rather than having a business and the business extracts capital away from the token holders itself makes the money, which grows the token value. And that is what good fundamentals look like. And we look at these things, and Syrup wasn't available on major exchanges. In fact, this was only just listed on Coinbase, only just listed on Robinhood a couple of weeks ago. We got in on that literally months and months and months ago because we were able to access what some call the primary markets or decentralized opportunities. And I'm going to share with you guys how to get access to this in today's presentation, because that is actually how you front run the institutions. You have to buy before everyone else does. And that comes from data and access, right? That's really important. Yeah, too much confusing intro. Travis, like in terms of, the things we see when clients come with us and like buying poor tokens, and they need to understand like, what's going to happen with their tokens because a lot of them are down. Once they buy into that hope and once they buy into the dreams that influencers provide, it's very hard to undo that when you're holding altcoins that are down, 40, 50%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that rotation out of things that you've already copped a loss on is something we work through quite significantly, but ultimately you want to avoid that. And I think I was kind of, as you were thinking on that, I think there's a different point that I want to raise too, which is, I see a lot of people, I've got friends who are 40s, 50s, 60s. I work with a lot of people who are on either that like more mature basis in terms of where they are with their career and business, or actually looking to create that generational wealth for the next cohort of people in their family. And one of the things I'm seeing is there's this constant argument of like the market's being a bit of a safer play. And we believe that that's part of a balanced strategy. But equally, there's things in the market where I go, there's no way that you understand that any better than you would understand crypto. For example, I've got a good former coaching client who is very big into medtech stocks. We go, well, there's 10-year play around. You don't know who owns it. You don't know where it's going. You can't really see the economics of it. You're sold a vision for it, and you invest in it, and then it ultimately is burned down and purchased by another company, and that's kind of the end of your shareholding. So I'd say with all of this, it's very easy to get lost in the technical confusing bit, but the benefit of what we do is we work through that, and we tell you, hey, there's actually some inherent value here, or actually don't touch this. Now, you have to be willing to listen to that, because the number of people who are, I can see all the XRP stuff coming up in the chat. The amount of people who buy a coin because they love the idea of the coin, the same way they buy a stock because they love the idea of a stock, is really problematic, because ultimately you become emotionally attached to a thing that you're using to build wealth, and those things can be misaligned. I might love what this stands for, but might make me no money. And it's like, well, am I okay with that trade-off? Because then really I'm not investing. I'm putting money in something I believe in that probably isn't going to give me a return. And we really help cut through that noise.
Yes. And that, like, represented on a chart, if you look at this chart, and again, I know it's can be a little bit small if you're on your mobile phone. The thing here you're seeing here, there's three different assets, all right? In the red, in the middle, you've got Bitcoin. So year to date, Bitcoin's down about 6%. If you were to buy literally at the start of the year. In the purple, this is altcoins. This is altcoins on average outside of the top 10. So altcoins are essentially any other coin outside of Bitcoin that is, tradable on the market. On average, altcoins are down 41% this year. All right. So if you've bought in to literally 99% of tokens this year, listening to people online, you would be down 41%. In the orange here, this is one of the projects I just mentioned, Syrup, which I have in my portfolio. Not only is up 20% against Bitcoin, but it's up 60% against, on average, altcoins. Huge outperformance. And if you look back into where we were taking profits early this year, back to this portfolio update, I took profits back on Syrup back in June, up 560%, because we had a systematic exit strategy. We bought in, we took profits, and we've way outperformed the market, while the entire market has been underperforming. All right. That's really, really important that you understand the fundamentals of what's going on. And that is where so many people go wrong with their investing in crypto. And not only Syrup, but the shift list has produced so many winners over the last, couple of cycles, from Ethereum at $80. Now, the all-time high hit close to 5,000. Syrup, up 1,200% at the top. Solana was at $22. IMF was at 15 cents. Bitcoin was at 3,000. Hype at 23. So many of these continue to play out because of the fundamentals. All right. Yeah. So again, product market fit. Number one, does it have product market fit? If it doesn't, get rid of it. Does it generate revenue? All right. Is it generating real revenue and, transaction fees? Is it going back to the token holders? Is it not like a meme coin? Because any meme coins and like these speculative projects are not sustainable projects. Does the tokenomics work? How does the distribution of these tokens work? And this is really important. This is why we've got a full team of analysts, because a lot of people don't understand what even tokenomics means. And it's okay if you don't understand what it means. The most important part of it is that there's so many coins that are driven by VCs that buy way, way, way earlier than any of us. And they list it on exchanges and they sell it into retail investors. Retail investors are the exit liquidity. All right. So you need to understand how the tokenomics work. And that's why our research filter works, because if we're buying tokens that VCs have bought months and months and months ago, we are behind and we are going to lose.
Yeah. And just on that, I want to kind of raise a point on that. You and I had a chat a little while back about this, because we were talking about what's happening in the market. And I said to you, my background is in consulting. I've been in consulting for 15 years prior to this. And what I said is that this is just normal. Everyone in crypto is going, what the hell is going on here? Institutional investments coming in, but the price is going the other way. I said, guys, you don't understand. When they come in, they have to vacuum up capital at a good rate in order to get momentum. And they do that in all industries. They've done it in retail, they've done it in healthcare, the number of hospitals that were acquired through this methodology. And people look at it and go, what's happening here? Like, you guys just don't know the blueprint for how they do this. And once you understand that this is the recipe that they repeat over and over again, you can then start to maneuver accordingly. But you have to understand, like, what's the play and why is it playing out this way? Not, oh, hold on, I was expecting something different.
Totally. Bang on. And the last one is that institutional backing. We follow where the big money is going, but we follow at the right time. If you're following by buying when it gets to Coinbase, when it gets to these major exchanges, you're too late. All right. So that's the filter. So the output of the shift list is a updated allocation list of tokens that, you know, are ranked by our top 20 coins that we like based on the valuations and the metrics. And that's what gives us the returns. You know, you can fast track all of that, hoping and spraying online by getting that, due diligence already done. And that's been the big winner for us this cycle. Is this all making sense so far? I want to get on to pillar 2. So that was more around the tokens and how to position and understand from a fundamental perspective. Does it make sense that there are a lot of tokens that actually aren't, good investments? Is that making sense? That actually 99% of this space is actually crap and you shouldn't be buying. All right. And I'm seeing a lot of tokens that people are listing in the chat that, yes, I would not be buying a lot of these tokens. You hear about them from influencers, and guess what happens when the tokens go down? They go disappear and not want to talk about it. Perfect. Okay, great. Now, the next one is pillar 2, which is the inflation shield. And this is the big one, guys, because this is what actually the opportunity is. This is what, by the data, 59% of institutions are increasing allocation in 2025 because they are preserving their purchasing power as there's a huge amount of wealth transfer going away from fiat currencies. All right. What's happening is that it's destroying your ability to grow wealth. So how do I think about that? So in terms of portfolio strategy, this is how I think about it. So I think about a barbell strategy. If you think about a barbell, on the left-hand side, I think about safety and wealth preservation. And on the right-hand side, I think about upside. How can I make the most increase on my capital on the upside? With the safety side, I'm looking at stacking Bitcoin. All right. I want to have a good amount of digital gold. Bitcoin's compounding at 40 to 50% year on year. All right. Huge amount of growth. Compounding faster than any other asset. Bitcoin ETF was the fastest growing ETF on record. All right. Then I want to build in layer ones, assets like Ethereum, Solana. These are our smart contract platforms. These have big institutional backings. Then I want to start to earn and build a stable coin portfolio where I can earn a yield. I can generate cash flow. All right. We can start to earn cash flow from our assets on a range of different platforms. All right. As an example, Binance is a platform. You can start to earn, look at the APR on some of these projects. You can start to earn Solana. All right. Based on the different lockup periods and whatnot, you can earn, a great return on your stable coins, more that you're going to earn in the bank. All right. This is something that we covered off with our clients, and we go through and we walk through sort of step by step, what, each part of the process is when it comes to actually earning a yield. And the most important part is like understanding the risk tolerance, and this is one of the parts that we did actually a couple of weeks ago. Some of the data I'm sharing today, like earning a crypto yield, really important when you think about that, part of the process, because the risk on this, I'm not sure if you were able to see that. This is the Binance site, right? If we go to Binance, you can earn, look at the APRs here. You can earn up to, 6%, 24% on BNB. Solana's got some wild APYs based on lockup periods. There's a lot of risk involved in the higher the returns you have, but you can earn returns on, platforms like Binance. You can earn, through DeFi, but they have different risk tolerances. And there is the big, factor that is actually losing your money based on not doing it correctly. And that's where a lot of people will lose out. And, a lot of the stuff we shared the other day with our clients around earning crypto yield was about how to do it safely. All right. Really, really important. Now, if I come back to the barbell strategy, on the other side, the upside pieces, this is the high growth altcoins. This is where we want to get into primary market opportunities. How do we get into early access tokens before the retail, before the institutions? This is where we get better pricing. We get higher grade assets and we get into emerging narratives before they become mainstream. By the time it's mainstream, it's too late. All right, that's really important. So let's talk about the primary market advantage and how like this actually gives you better access. What most retail investors do is they wait for public listings. They wait for tokens to reach, mainstream exchanges. By the time that's happened, they're paying premium prices. You're missing the early growth phase and you're just higher risk because there's lower upside. The problem is you're already paying a markup. What we get access to and what we continue to drive, because this is where the biggest returns are, is the primary market access. And as an example of that, and this is going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's essentially what I was sharing on the screen just before. With a big outperformance, I'll bring in another token that we've invested in. Let's go Hyperliquid. So if we look at from May, the tariff lows. All right. And let me just make sure you guys can see this. I'm just adding in on the chart here. We've got another one that you can see here, which is Hyperliquid, right? So Hyperliquid is another one we added earlier in the year that we added in the dip. When we have these corrections, we've had multiple corrections, this cycle. We bought into Hyperliquid. And guess what? Hyperliquid is very hard to get access to. You can't, or you couldn't easily get Hyperliquid back here because it's a competitor to Binance and Coinbase and all these major exchanges. You had to buy it through Hyperliquid itself, a decentralized exchange. And that is very hard to wrap your head around when you're trying to do it on your own. But by the time it got listed on the major exchanges, the price is already on the downward slope. So again, coming back to this point of like outperformance of Bitcoin, altcoins on average down 20% at this point. Hyperliquid's outperforming by 100% because you've got to know how to buy through the right platforms. And the right platforms sometimes aren't actually, the major exchanges like Coinbase and SwiftX or CoinSpot or whatever it might be. So how does that actually look? Well, like if we come back to, looking at, how that actually looks in the platform, step-by-step resources on like actually how to access primary markets. Primary markets are essentially getting access to the blockchain itself. You pass through the exchanges and you get access directly to the blockchain itself. And this is what we go and have step-by-step processes on, and we do one-on-ones to help you get set up with this, because this is really the only way to get ahead, guys. I'm going to be honest. Like this is where, especially as the market gets hotter and there's more institutions, everyone's fighting for the best returns. You've got to be able to do this, otherwise you get left behind. All right. And that's 100%. Where, we see time and time again, Trav, people are too late and come in and, don't understand it really.
Yeah. And I think that's where people struggle with the set and forget approach. They very much, like crypto, unfortunately, isn't like that. We have to tell you the honest truth about crypto. And, Ben, you and I have had those conversations with people in past, or even when we went to Oz CryptoCon, people have come up to us and go, I was in the membership a few years ago. I set my strategy, went off and did my own thing, and it came off the rails. It's like, yeah, because strategy is dynamic. As things change, we make you aware of it. And so the thing is, we're coming back in. Can I join again? It's like, yeah, of course. Come on back. But it's that whole, like, it's not like what you see in a lot of traditional ETFs where you go, hey, I'll just put in an ETF and leave it alone and it'll perform okay over time. You don't get great gains in that barbell strategy by just leaving things and never looking at it again.
Yeah, totally. And TP, what trading platform? So one of the best ones to look at, and I'd urge you guys to check it out, is Uniswap. Like Uniswap is the best way to get access to early stage Ethereum tokens. You've also got Phantom Wallet, which is a great way to get access to early stage Solana tokens. It's different per like product or investment that you're trying to get access to it. There's different platforms to buy, but that's really important in terms of being able to offset the cost of getting in late. And that's really like the difference of like, typical investors buy late, your portfolio is down because you're holding assets that have big downside risk, and then you panic and you're making poor decisions because it's on the downward slope, where like getting access early changes everything, where you're actually getting tokens at a big discount, better pricing before everything else. Exactly. And that's really, really important. Yeah. So Dale, the best exchange to access to utilize the native market. So Uniswap is the best one, as I just mentioned, like Uniswap. That's what I just showed before. Uniswap is Ethereum's top decentralized crypto exchange where you can buy pretty much any token. All right. So you got Uniswap, Phantom Wallet for Solana, and that's what's going to get you access to those. Now, coming back to the question before, is like, how do stable coins offset inflation? This is where we're talking about renting your digital real estate. All right. So what a lot of people do is they come into crypto and they speculate. They buy a lottery ticket. They buy an altcoin and they hope it goes up and they sell it and try and become, wealthy. That or wealthier. That is gambling. What real investors do, and what more and more people do, and this is my big strategy, is to buy and accumulate Bitcoin. I use altcoins to grow my portfolio faster, accumulate Bitcoin, and use my Bitcoin to either, generate a yield or lend against so I can grow that faster. You can earn a yield on your stable coins to outpace the growth of inflation. All right. And that's where I just mentioned before, like, in terms of, APY, APR, like basically the interest you can earn per year can be up to 10 or 12%, depending on what platform you use. Now, there's people out there that will scream from the rooftops, you can make 10% per month. I guarantee you cannot. That is the fastest way you can lose your money, Travis.
What was the one we had someone come to us and said, oh, one of these groups has promised us this. I said, mate, if anyone promises you that, run for the hills, because here's your growth curve. And I just said, oh, let's take your 100K and put it in there and show them the trajectory. I said, mate, at a certain point, someone's going to come knocking and steal your secrets if that's true. And if you could do 8% per month, which was compounded over 100% per year, that's like, and guarantee that you would not be selling a membership as part of that. Like that. That's the big thing is, we share our research that we use for our own portfolios. We don't say to people, hey, give us your money and we're going to get you 8%. That's just craziness. Makes no sense.
And also, like, let's be honest, guys, there's some smart people in the room. Everyone's tried to get rich quick. No one's been able to do it unless you win the lotto. It does not exist. If it did exist, everyone would be doing it. That's why it doesn't exist. You cannot make that amount of money in a short period of time without it blowing up. And we've got a lot of content we can talk about it. It's actually, it's called impermanent loss when it comes to crypto. We've got a full guide on it in the platform. I'm not going to go through it because it's very technical. But the point being, we guide everyone through, why these things, exist and why they don't work. Because so many people get caught out by, crazy people on the internet screaming from the rooftops, you can do this stuff. So, really what we're looking at here is like, if you were to earn 7% annually on your USDC, on your stable coins, right? And you started with, $500,000, an example, within 10 years, you've made close to double that. Your principal grew close to $480,000 and your annual yield is now you're generating $70,000 a year, right? And you've never sold, you've got stable coins. You've never had to move that around. And that's just based off USDC. Then there's DeFi protocols. There's other lending platforms. There's more risk you can take to earn more. And this is where you can really make money on the downside as well, offset against inflation, because this is way more than you're going to get in the bank. All right. And it's just something that a lot of people don't speak about because they really don't want you to figure it out. That all making sense so far, team? You're happy? Everything's good so far? I want to go into how I lend against my Bitcoin and how the wealthy create more wealth, but just in the chat, is this helpful so far? Give me a little yes in the chat if it is. I want to make sure I'm covering off all the right things. Fantastic. Cool. Yes. Great, Chip. Awesome. Fantastic. Awesome. Yes. Cool. Brilliant. Helpful. Amazing. So the next part is like my strategy, right? Really, how do you guys, I know you're wealthy, the sophisticated investors, how do you grow more wealth? Well, you buy assets, you lend against it, you don't pay capital gains because you're not selling the asset, and you use that asset or the cash flow that you generate to buy more assets. All right. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to do this. This is what I do. I look to build my Bitcoin portfolio because I believe Bitcoin is the best asset on the planet. I believe it's going to the hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. And I use the buy, borrow, die strategy. It's how all the billionaires make all the money. It's how all the billionaires don't pay any tax. It's because they never sell anything. They never pay capital gains because they're never selling anything. They use their assets to lend against it. All right. So the traditional way is when you sell an asset, you pay 20 to 30% capital gains. You sell $100,000, you pay $20,000 in tax, and you have $80,000 left over. What I look to do is use my assets to generate interest. I borrow against it. I pay the interest. Let's say it's 5%, 7% you can get at the moment on Bitcoin. I pay the 7% interest per year. And then the compounding growth of Bitcoin is moving at a 30 to 40% per annum rate. Now, yes, there's volatility and there's a lot of risk associated with it. And please, don't take this as financial advice. You need to speak to your own advisor on this. But as long as, for me, the growth of the asset is compounding faster than the debt, then I'm winning. And I also don't pay capital gains. All right. That is how the wealthy make more wealth. And that is the strategy that I utilize. And that's, what I've done. I've, lent against my Bitcoin to go on holidays. I can do whatever I want. But ultimately, the goal is to accumulate Bitcoin, lend against, and then buy other assets. And that's the exciting part about Bitcoin. Now, the third pillar, and this is where, Travis, works a lot with our clients around the systematic exit, because this is the big part that so many people get wrong. Trav. Like this is like the, the idea that, being fearful of selling, not timing the market, round tripping, very, very hard. And a lot of people don't know when to sell. There's a couple of exit signals that you can follow. And, this is easy, like the ETF flow, valuation extremes, all this stuff. Like this is data that our analysts follow. The hard part, Travis, is the psychology.
Yes.
I'm going to hand over to you to talk about this part.
Yeah. So that first bit that you've highlighted there on that selling too early fear always turns into a conversation somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months later, where I get the call. I had one a couple of days ago where, end of last week, doesn't matter, where the member said, when I joined, you helped me set up all the framework side, and I didn't listen to it. And now I want to talk about what I can do to move forward emotionally, because I'm stuck now. And I was afraid I was going to sell too early, and I didn't do that, which led to fear too, which now I'm riding it to zero because I've chosen to continue to hold, and I just need some help. Happily, he did go and sell on the back of that. And on the other side of it is, that paralysis that it causes. So I think people think that it's easy once you have a paper strategy. The number of times Simon, who does all of our strategy calls, reaches out to me and goes, mate, you need a session with this person because I've set them a strategy, but they've already kind of said they don't think they're going to do it. And so we then work through, well, what's the blocker? It may be fear. It may be ego. It may be greed. It may be the fear of actually saying it to people around you, not around the fear of losing out, but actually the fear of communicating it, or looking bad around your family who you haven't told that you have crypto. So again, there's a number of factors there, but we've got a lot of tactics we've worked through, and we've had members come to us and say, I used that tactic we covered off on, and now I understand why I didn't do it, and I've done something about it. I think you're on mute, Ben.
Sorry. The other side, Trav, is like that rotation of the emotions, the psychological problem. Like you go from, fear to greed to FOMO, and you end up on the yo-yo, and you just keep like buying the top and selling the bottom.
Correct. Yeah. So that fear of missing out is critical. And for some people, they start there. They're not in market and they've got that FOMO. For other people, they're in market and they're seeing a bit of change and they're going, wait, am I in the right things? Do I need to make a shift? So if you're in market, you've got that fear. What that fear usually feeds into eventually at some point is greed. Now, all of us are here as investors in crypto to make money. Like generally, you're not there because you just have this love of crypto. For some people, they do, but that's a small percentage. But on the other side there's also the greed that comes with it. People think, oh, well, I'm in crypto, so I should be rewarded with X multiples. When you speak to people on stock returns or any other ETF they invest in, they never go, I expect a 2 to 10X on this in the next 12 months. You just don't. That's crazy. You'd go, man, what are you talking about? But in crypto, you get this real greed that comes with it. And I talked about this at our last in-person strategy day, where we had, our high net wealths who are in our platinum program. We had 130 of them in Sydney. Just before Oz CryptoCon, and we talked about the research around how people treat crypto, even seasoned investors. So there it is. Ben's got the video queued up, which you can watch as a member. And we talk about how the research was quite damning, and that it showed even seasoned investors or proper traders look at crypto and they treat it very differently in terms of expectation management, very similar to gambling habits. So we're here to break that cycle. Now, sometimes it's because of fear, sometimes it's because of greed, and sometimes it's because you're seeing someone else doing well and you're going, how come I'm not performing that way? So we know how to counteract all those forces, and we provide great tools and tactics to overcome them.
Yeah, I think the big difference as well, Trav. So this was our platinum clients that we work with, and I'll share a little bit about that soon for those interested. But we do 2 in-person strategy days every year, 2 in the US and 2 in Australia. And the recent one, Travis, I think we had about 150 or 160 clients. You can see that they were recording. And this was a big one. Like 90% of retail investors make, poor decisions because, they don't have that, that psychological framework and the coaching and guidance to not execute. And that's exactly what we teach and work, one-on-one with our members to build out. Super important.
Exactly.
The last one is, tax efficient strategies. And this is something, again, that, people talk about in the chat. Tax is a big part of what we do. Like, you really want to make sure you're taxed right. So we bring on tax professionals. We have tax partners where, our clients get a 30-minute free consultation with a tax professional. We do tax, content and insights to really support you. We have, tax platforms where you plug in your wallets and you can see all your performance and how to optimize your tax. Really, really important that you optimize for that, because that's really where you can save or lose a lot of money, especially on when you're trading between tokens and, you don't really know, but you end up with this massive tax bill when, the reality is you could have avoided that a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really important on the tax side. Now, I want to just go back to the chat. In the chat, who is feeling like this is making sense? Has the 3 pillars so far been helpful? Just give me a yes in the chat. I want to get to some Q&A in a second, but the 3 key pillars that we just focus on is really, at the end of the day, super important to focus on. Throw a little yes in the chat. Is this making sense? Is this good? Let me know. Because what we've just essentially gone through is we've gone through the inflation silent tax, the stable coins, the earning the yield, the institutional wave, building that roadmap out. I want to talk, very helpful. This is good. Fantastic. I want to talk next just briefly on, this process we take clients through, Trav. And it's the 7-step process that we utilize to help with this. Because really at the end of the day, what we teach and what we work with our clients is building a process, systematic execution. So you can take a lot of the emotion away and, you can build out your own strategy that we work with you one-on-one to build out that isn't just based on hopes and dreams. And I think the big one, if I was really to boil down to it, is, understanding your goals, why are you in crypto in the first place? Understanding that really helps you and us build out that personalized sort of, strategy. But the portfolio structure is really important. And Travis, the biggest mistake we see people make, and, we spoke about this last month, was around the performance drag of actually making poor decisions. I think you have some data on, portfolios being held back by performance by poor decisions.
Yeah, so the stats were quite damning. It came from Dunbar and then was validated by UC Berkeley. But what they looked at was the average return loss for retail investors, which would be everyone on this call, looking at what's the effect on their portfolio of behavior, not of necessarily the asset or when they chose the asset, but their actual behavior in investing. And it was 4 to 6% annually, which compounds. So you're talking about, if you've made 8%, you can wipe off 4 to 6% of that opportunity that would have sat above that because you would have done something behaviorally, would have been in chasing a goal or not being clear on the goal. For, Ben, you want clear on goals. That's the anchor for. So if we stand there trying to work that goal, I lead the research and success team with our clients. This question every time we're talking is what is goal? What do they need, and how are we bringing them closer to that goal?
Yeah, and I think the emotions that crypto creates is the thing that triggers poor decisions. Crypto is unlike any other market, and I think that comes back to one of the steps in this process is the sell strategy, and this is what we were just talking about before. Actually implementing a proper sell strategy is so important. Because without this is where it all goes south. And, the 5 steps to, mastering your exit plan is a resource that we put together to help you think about, how will you build your strategy, the time base, the dollar cost averaging out, and the unrealized profit and loss. And as I mentioned at the start, what I'm really excited to give you guys is you guys dropped out. Can you still hear me? I think maybe Travis dropped out briefly there. I'm not sure if that was me. It sounds like maybe some others had that too. I'm not sure. Maybe it comes back. You guys can hear me all right? Just want to make sure that's good. Fantastic. I want to share, as I said at the start, this as a PDF, as a bonus for all of you for showing up today. Again, this is something that our clients, our clients pay us, from anywhere from sort of, $5,000 to, in the tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the program that we set up. This exit plan and the 5 tips to exit this, we're going to give away as a PDF bonus. So if you guys would like that, I'll get the team to share that in the chat very soon. Awesome, you can hear me okay. So yeah, if you guys are excited for that, I'll get the guys to drop that in the in the chat to the right hand side. So you'll take that away as completely for free, and start to use that to think about building your exit plan, because it's a really important part about crypto that if you don't get right, it's really the number one problem that people incur. Awesome. Cool. Everything good so far? Yes, please. You guys would like that? Yes, thank you. Amazing. Yes, excited. Cool. Brilliant. Now, I want to get to some Q&A. So please start to send in your questions. Before I do that, I just want to recap sort of where we're at, because we've covered a lot. All right. So we've gone through, the institutions are here. We're seeing Vanguard, the second biggest asset manager on the planet, has now arrived into crypto. That's never happened before. They've been anti-crypto forever, pretty much. We've got, not only that, the Bank of America. We've got advisors now, providing advice to their clients to get up to 4% exposure to crypto. We've got BlackRock buying at a rapid rate. We've got huge ETF inflows. But what does everyone see? No one sees that behind closed doors. And that's where the roadmap of turning that, news into data and building a roadmap to build that wealth is that, that strategy that we were sharing today, and how to offset all the silent tax that's going on, that's killing your wealth with inflation, and fiat currency is, earning yield, having stable coins, leaning against your Bitcoin to retire on cash flow, not capital gains. All right. So the 3-pillar part is exactly what we've covered today. And exactly, those 3 steps is the most important 3 pillars that we cover off. Now, with the next steps, so we're going to get to Q&A, so please send them through. We're going to start them because there's a lot of questions coming in. I want to talk about, the next step. For those of you that are, interested, there's a couple of approaches you can take, from here. I know some of you are new to crypto, some of you you've dabbled, some of you are looking to take it to, a next level. Doing it on your own is really, really tough. All right. It's stressful. It's going to make you probably already, if not, it will, anxious. There's going to be a lot of overwhelm, a lot of conflicting information. All right. And the isolation and loneliness of crypto creates poor decisions, technical errors, and the risk, the super high risk of actually getting scammed and losing money. All right. Sleepless nights. Very, very painful. I've been through it. What we've built over the last 5 years is a program that provides that professional guidance, one-on-one sessions, systematic frameworks, our own process and strategy that we take clients through to get their own clarity, network, and security to make sure you're not making these mistakes. All right. And that is what our platinum membership is. So essentially you can think of your platinum membership as like a fractional, family office or a fractional professional team that's working alongside you without the massive retainer, without performance metrics, without taking a clip of your fees. Our platinum membership is a proprietary group of sophisticated investors where we do one-on-one sessions, build up your crypto, portfolio, support you with tax, give you weekly new intelligence, give you the exit signals. We give you the guidance through WhatsApp, and we've grown to about, I think over the last, couple of years, we're at about 330 platinum clients. We're offering final spots for 2025. So we got 10 spots that we bring on. And then we're going to close the doors for 2025. Now, the annual investment for platinum is $15,000, and it is an application process. And the reason it's an application process is because we're very, very focused on keeping the group very curated. And we want to make sure that the group contains very high level sophisticated members, because that's what makes so much value and what makes it so exciting for the value of the group. So you start with one-on-one educational sessions. You start with your own client success manager. You then get one-on-one sessions with our analyst and our head of education, Simon. You have a roundtable strategy session with me. You get access to our research platform that I was showing you before, the full dashboard. Your own WhatsApp community with other platinum members, the platinum member inner circle, where you get to ask questions, and the analyst and I are replying in there when you've got support questions you need help with before you make a bad mistake or invest in something. You can message us. You get 2 in-person events every year, so the full crypto masterminds, full strategy days, the portfolio alerts. Whenever we buy or sell something, you can track our portfolio and execute based on what we're doing, so you don't have to make all the decisions on your own. And then every week we do live office hours with our members. And Travis, I want to share, in terms of the new profile that we provide clients, we do a personalized roadmap for each individual investor that signs up and joins us and gets approved. We build this basically, profile that you've built to help analyze, what part of the investor or a member they need support with. Do you want to talk through this and how this works in the onboarding process?
Yeah, just want to check that my audio is okay. I know some of it was choppy.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so again, my background is in the psych and consulting space, and I ran a company previously that was in the analytics and psychometric side. So very much what we looked at is like, what are the key things that drive our high net wealth investors and what are their goals, and then helping them understand, okay, against benchmarks in this space, where can we help them? Where is there maybe their education a bit low in this area, or where is fear driving them to make certain decisions? And then the goal here is for us, and what we do is, as you come into the membership, we set you up with a onboarding call where we discover what's going on here, work through it, and then we have a full onboarding call where we show you the platform and we tell you how we're going to help move you through your goals. Now, what Ben's showing there is just a brief action plan. There's actually a full personalized one that follows on the back of that, separate from this document. But what you can see here is we've over the years categorized and understood how different investors behave and what their goals are. And then, as Ben's showing you here, this is the member onboarding plan that we take you through, our comprehensive process that really helps drive people forward, particularly in that first couple of weeks when you're really finding your feet in crypto. And if you're in market already, it's helping you understand, well, what are the resets that need to be done? And then, as Ben has kind of highlighted there on the bottom, the ongoing support and options, depending on what the person needs. We had a member recently join who even has their own analysts and has their own fund they're managing, but just wants to hear from the community and be part of that. So we tailored their experience. And then we've had other members who very much don't want any of the noise and just want to understand what's happening in the market and be given that in the form of announcements and weekly calls. And again, that's something we do. So we're all about understanding what the journey needs are and then entirely tweaking that to suit your needs.
Yeah, and that's really why we limit the membership. So we only take certain amounts of people into the group because it's quality over quantity for us. We want to make market impact, and we have personal involvement with every single member. The way our business works is that we don't make money off affiliates. We don't do affiliate links. We don't do paid promotion. Trust and transparency is our number one, policy at Collective Shift. We only make money off the results we provide. And the idea behind Collective Shift was, if we do really well with our investing and we help our clients win, then any money we make, we can buy more crypto and we can hire better analysts and better data to do a better job, right? And trust and transparency is a massive part of our business, and we have a full disclosure policy our entire team upholds, where you see our entire holdings updated every single week to make sure that there's full transparency with our entire team. So we are with you every step of the way, from one-on-one sessions, weekly calls, priority support, 24-hour response from full-time analysts. You've got the community. But I want to make sure it's clear before we put the link in the chat, because we only have 10 spots we'll be taking on before the end of the year. And then next year we'll most likely be increasing pricing like we normally do once we hit our cap, is that you need to be looking to manage at least $100,000 or more in crypto over the next 12 months. So even if you're brand new, that's fine. You need to be looking to deploy up to $100,000 over the next 12 months. If you're really looking to, grow it through a systematic framework, you want to utilize cryptocurrency to grow your wealth. All right. You don't want a round trip. You want to, really cut through that overload. This is for you. It's not for you if you're managing less than that, or if you're not looking to increase your exposure to crypto, you're seeking get rich quick schemes. This is not for you. All right. If you're just not looking for, long-term wealth creation, like please don't book a call. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. We'll get a link maybe on the slide as well, Josh, if you can put it as an overlay. Basically, we have a final cohort of 2025. After that, we're closing the onboarding. So there's a 72-hour window that's going to shut. What the process is from here is you have to book a call with either Reese or David, who you met before, all right? And basically on that call is you're going to ask questions. We're going to ask questions to see if it's a good fit for the both of us, all right? So this page that we're going to link in the chat, you go over to this page. This is the final cohort, so it will close in a couple of days, all right? You go through here and you'll see all of the information I shared with you today about what the platinum looks like, what you get, all the information, all the features, everything, all right, including the bonuses. You're going to hit this button here, which is going to apply, and that's going to take you to a book a call page. You must book a call with us for us to approve you to the group. This is not open for enrollment. We want to make sure that we're weeding out anyone that isn't a good fit. Fill out the details. Make sure you fill it out like with what you actually want to answer, because we do take these seriously. Anyone that's not taking it seriously or we think it's just a waste of time, we're going to cancel. Because after this week, we're not taking on any more enrollments, or once we hit 10 people, all right? And there was hundreds and hundreds, and we usually have a lot of people booking calls in these sessions. So, make sure you go over and fill that out as fast as you can, just to, we take it sort of, first in line, first in best dressed for the platinum group. Now, I want to go back to why you're doing that the results we've been able to achieve from this really is everything that we mentioned today, but being able to build it one-on-one. So Chris, one of my favorite members, he round-tripped his first cycle. He had 80 different altcoins, paid off his house in November using the exit strategy. Now he's debt-free, and he still has crypto for the rest of this cycle. The goal is to use your crypto, pay it down, sell it off, buy assets, and keep building. All right. Brady, he made $7,000 to $8,000 from a single airdrop. All right. Pretty epic. We've also got Jaden. We've got, a bunch of Trustpilot reviews that you can go over and check out. And maybe, I might even be able to share my screen in a second. But, he's been with us, Jaden, for 3 bull markets. Every single bull market, he talks about how he's made life-changing amounts of money with us. All right. Joe, he was in losses. He came to us down in his portfolio. He was able to turn it around using our strategy in just 4 months. All right, which was epic. Bill, he made $120,000 from one of the alerts in the WhatsApp group. So you get access to our sophisticated inner circle. And in that, he bought Trump at $9 after seeing it mentioned in the chat on the road to Melbourne. He sold it at $63, and his profit was above $120,000. It's paid for his collectorship fee for a few years. All right, and he's a busy property investor. He's got like 30 or 40 properties. All right, crazy. So again, why do we only take on 10 people? Because that's as much as we can take on for the rest of the year. Because of the one-on-one support we provide, the personalized support, we want to maintain the quality of the group. We only take certain amounts of people in, and we only have 10 spots for the rest of the year. And we really want to make sure we're working with action takers. We're heading up into that Christmas period. What usually happens for people that are not ready to go is, the holidays become a thing. You go away for 2 or 3 weeks. This is why the action takers get to front run the institutions, because they take action. They don't wait. What normal people do is they wait for the market to go up. Let's wait for it to be a thing. You don't build the shelter before, the tornado hits. All right. You want to be prepared. You're right. If you're too late in waiting, then it's too late and it's been obliterated. We want to make sure we're working with people that are ready to take action, because we want to make sure you're making money, because this doesn't work any other way. We don't make money in any other means. Our business is purely based on results. And the ROI is pretty obvious, right? If you have $100,000 in crypto and you can make, 50% returns over a year, well, you're going to make $50,000. Or if you don't make that poor mistake of being scammed and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we can protect you from that insurance of, losing money or custody, or just going through our security process, or working with us one-on-one to make sure you don't make the same mistakes as so many other people do, then that is the thing that's going to make all the difference. All right. And in terms of our, returns, I shared this at the start, but, the audited returns that we have is over the last 3 years, we've made 499% cumulative, which is outperforming the S&P, which is up 64%. So an 8x outperformance. And the last 3 years, this is the return verified by my tax provider. Now, obviously, past performance doesn't indicate future results, and everyone's going to be different, and we're not promising returns by any stretch of the imagination. But this is the opportunity in crypto, and there will be down years. This year's been a tough year. Like, you're going to have down years, but that's the possibility of crypto. All right, and that's where you can ride those out, and you can take advantage at the right time. There's also so many testimonials that you can go and check out on Trustpilot. Like, these are all available for you guys. I might even share this so you can literally see. We don't like to just pick and choose. Reviews. There's I think we've got close to 100 reviews now. So many reviews. You can go and check out. Literally in the last few weeks. Truly has your back. Simplify portfolio. Like-minded people. Starting with the first conversation. Genuinely helped. All right. There's so many things in there to go and check out. So all you need to do is jump over to that link in the chat. As I said, first 10 people. If you don't have time and you think you need time to do this, this is exactly why we built Collective Shift Platinum. All right. It's not about the time. It's about saving you time. We do the heavy lifting for you so you don't have to do the work. All right. Most of our investors are high performing executives or entrepreneurs or career people. And Travis, you talk with them all the time. Like, these are busy people, a lot of people don't have
100%. That's one of the biggest advantages, is the ability to go, okay, cool. I've worked through my strategy. I've worked through some of the tactics. Now I don't have to spend a lot of time on this. And even the initial bit, we carry most of the labor in getting it all set up for you. There's a couple of calls, but aside from that, we handle everything else. So I think there were some questions in the chat around, how much time or how much does it require me, or why is it only 10 spots? And I think those all come back to the same thing, which is we want to make sure that that experience suits the needs, and that requires a fair bit of effort at the start from us to look after you.
Totally. Yeah, and that $15,000, is actually not a lot of money when you're investing a lot in crypto. Like, if you're building a $100,000 portfolio and you're looking to grow that over the next few years, like, that is a very small amount in contrast to what a fund would charge you, what a financial advisor would charge you, percentage growth when you make profits. And the cost of not losing that money is massive. All right. And really the transformation we're going to take you from. And Paul, can beginners be in the group? 100%. Like, we work with a lot of fresh beginners. Like, we have, as I said, and what Travis was talking about, everyone goes through a personalized action plan to get them set up. So if you're brand new to crypto, in fact, it's going to save you a lot more than if you're already in crypto, because usually, you've figured it out that this is very hard to do. So if you're brand new, it's even better, because you go from not making emotional decisions, underperforming the market, drowning in all this noise and getting confused and worried, to having a data-driven decision, a personalized strategy, and confidence and peace of mind, so you can front run what's to come. So there's a lot of calls coming in. Dawn from Canada, welcome, Dawn. We've got Anthony from Australia. We've got Mickey from Europe, welcome. Fantastic. A lot of calls coming in. So make sure you jump over and book that. Again, this is an enrollment. It's a conversation. If it's not a good fit, that's fine. We're going to point you in the right direction. It's more just, figuring out where you're at, asking a few questions, and then the team will better understand whether or not the Platinum program is best for you. We're going to be closing the cohort in 72 hours. It'll be the final 10, and then we'll most likely be increasing that into the new year, because, again, we can only work with so many people. And at the moment, we have about a 68 to 70% retention, which is pretty phenomenal for our space, especially in crypto, with the market being the way it is. I think the retention of year on year is quite is probably one of the world's leading, to be honest, in our space, and something we're very proud of, because we're highly incentivized to make sure you win. So the next step is to apply now. Go check it out. We'll click the link or head over to collectiveshift.co/platinum. Looking forward to answering some questions now in the chat. I did mention, sorry, I forgot to mention, we do have, for those of you that aren't qualified or you're not ready at that $100,000 level yet, we have recently launched our Pro Membership Accelerator. So this is a lower cost. This is $5,000 a year, and it gives you access to live coaching with me and the team in a group format, where we go through the core pillars of what you need, and then you get access to our research for the year. You don't get any of the one-on-one support of the WhatsApp or anything like that, but it is a new program we've had a lot of success from. So if you are interested in that, again, all you need to do, you can book in a call and you can chat to the team about that when you get on it. So the accelerator has been successful. We've had a lot of, we've had 2 cohorts through now, Trav, I think.
Yeah, and the feedback has been phenomenal. We've also got our largest cohort starting. Oh, you did mention the dates this morning. Sorry, Ben. Starting soon. And that one's got nearly 50 people in it already. But yeah, I run a session in there on the behavioral side. Ben does a great kind of kickoff session on foundations and market positioning. And the big thing we're hearing, because I did see a lot of this in the chat, was that people asking, hey, I'm new to this and I'm not quite at that investment level. Well, this is a phenomenal way to start. We have had some people graduate out of this and go into platinum, and others go, you know what, actually, I'm loving this tier of membership because it gives me what I need and I can keep doing my own research. So this is more of a, we help you understand how to leverage the market and what to do, and then you run it yourself from there. And that's, people absolutely love that as an alternative if that suits you better.
So we do that every single week for a month, and you get 12 months access to the research. So that's the accelerator. Yeah. Again, to chat about that, you do need to chat with the team to see if it's a good fit. Again, go over to the link in the description. It'll go through all the items of platinum. So if you're not ready for platinum, still book in a call here. Just make sure when you go to this button and you select what portfolio size, that you just make sure you say you got less than $100,000. That'll just make sure we're aware of where you're at, and it'll help us with the team and the conversations we have. Is the accelerator included with platinum? Yes, it is, TP. And, we actually do it as a one-on-one basis. So not only do you get access to the accelerator if you want it as a group format, but really what we build is that we do it one-on-one with you. So the accelerator is in a group format. You might be with 20 to 30 other students, or people doing the enrollments. But with platinum, we work with you one-on-one. We go a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I want to keep pushing through these questions. Yeah. So Tamar, it's $15,000 per year. And at the end of the year, you decide, what you want to do for the following year. There's, different ways we can adjust your portfolio, your membership for the second year, depending on what you need. But yeah, it's $15,000 for the year, and that gets you set up and all the way through and working with the team. Chris, don't have 15,000. So that's the accelerator membership. So that's $5,000 a year. We had a big wait list for that. So the latest cohort's been very busy. So the next one's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So you can just, again, jump on, book in a call with the team, and they'll be able to set you up with that. Beginners, 100%. Beginners be in the group, fresh start, learn properly. And, you're actually amongst other peers that are also starting. So we have a wide range of different, levels of members, starting from, brand new to, experience. You don't have to be a wizard, a tech wizard, or anything like that. It's absolutely not the case. And you don't have to have 40 hours a week to manage it. It's really about, we act as a filter, not a fire hose. All right. It's curated, it's personalized. It's not like overwhelming to give you more stuff. It's really to save you time. And that's where the personalized piece comes in. Chip, can you help with the current situation with crypto? Yes, 100%. You bring it in, you fill out your dashboard. So that's on the platform. When you go through, you go to your dashboard, you fill it out, and you start to build out what you've got in your portfolio. And add your portfolio. And then when you jump on your one-on-one with the team, we jump on and help you out and work through the portfolio with you, which is really cool. Awesome. Exciting to see all the calls coming in. Look forward to speaking to you all. Bill. Yes. So can I set up a call to determine what level of membership? Yes, 100%. So if you're not sure, that's all a part of the member growth team call. So you just go over and book a call. It's a consultation call, guys. It's up to you whether or not you want to go through with it or not. It's just a better way to understand if it's a good fit for you. It's a good fit for us, and we can explain both options if you're not sure, and then you can decide. And as well, if you go with the accelerator, you can upgrade later, and we just use it as a credit off the membership, so you don't lose out. How to engage family that are not interested. I think it's really about being a part of, a group and having information where you can share that with them. And Trav, in our strategy days, people bring their partners, we have events where our members bring their partners and family members so they can jump on board. It's a lot easier in person, we find.
Yeah, 100%. And I think if they're not interested, you have to ask why. Is it because there's a fear around crypto? Is it because they don't understand the technical side of it? I've been through that with my own partner and helping her understand, well, why am I in this? What does it look like? And why is this a option that works for us? Comes down to sometimes just understanding the technical nature of it. And crypto has a stigma around it. We're not blind to that. So if you're trying to help someone overcome it, or help engage your family, you have to help them understand, well, what's your plan? How are you working through this? And what have you done to protect yourself?
Yeah, spot on. My camera's just going walkabouts. There we go. What other questions have we got? I just want to clarify, is it only with the Platinum that you're able to teach us about the whole ecosystem with tax and how to invest in smarter, more efficient ways? We do talk about that, Jake, on the accelerator. It's just in a group format. It's more done, do it yourself, if that makes sense. Yeah. The Platinum is done with you. So yes, we do talk about that, but it's kind of like we've got 1,000 members in the lower tier. So we don't have the ability to work one-on-one with everyone at that level. So yes, we still cover it. But on the one-on-one level, that's in the Platinum. David, by 100K invested, do you mean fresh capital or already deployed? Already deployed is fine too, David. It's just like $100,000 in the market now, or if you don't have any money in the market and you're looking to deploy that over the next 12 months. Welcome, Paul from Australia. Looking forward to chat. We got Joanne from Australia booking in. We got Chip from the United States. TP, do you have a tentative schedule? Yeah. So I actually think we've got the rough dates. So we're looking at May and November for Australia. So May will be in Melbourne, November will be in Sydney, and then roughly June will be in Miami, and roughly October will be in Miami as well. If you can't make it in person, we have them professionally recorded, so you don't miss out. Welcome, Miriam from Australia. We've got Paul, awesome. Dawn, welcome, Dawn, Anthony, Mickey. Lots of calls coming in, which is fantastic to see. Stephen, do you have to pay 15K in one payment? So it depends if you do the accelerator or the Platinum, but yes, we do. It's a yearly membership, and that is, you can discuss it with the guys on the calls. It can be a tax incentive too for some people, so you can actually offset that as a expense towards your investments and offset your capital gain. So definitely talk to the team about that. We accept SMSF, company structure. Best to chat to the team and they can have a conversation with you about what that looks like. Miriam, why charge in USD? So we have clients from how many countries did we say, Travis? 41 countries, I think.
Yeah, there's 40 on something last I checked. It's kind of scattered all over the place. Yeah, but we've got a decent European chunk, and Australia and North America are quite large for us as well.
Yeah, so it's 41 different countries. No one outside of Australia, Miriam, uses the Australian dollar. The US dollar is the main provider. If you're from Australia, obviously when we receive the different currencies, there can be incentives. So for Australians, it's 20,000 Australian dollars, or everyone else it's 15,000 US, which works out about similar after the fees. Chip, can we use retirement accounts to invest? Yes. So depending on where you are located, Chip, yes, we do. Whether it's IRA or SMSF, we accept it all. Obviously, you just need to check with your accountant. But yeah, we've got clients that sign up with all different structures. Cool. Yeah, 14,909 on USD. Yeah, about 20,000 on Australian. Or the buy sell recommendation given in both Platinum and Accelerator. Yeah, so you get all the research from the platform on both Platinum and Accelerator. You just don't get the alerts in the WhatsApp and the personalized one-on-one support. So yes, we do provide the announcements as a research piece on the platform, but it's not an alert. It's a article essentially. It's a research piece that gets uploaded on the platform.
You also don't get the in-person events.
No in-person events, no WhatsApp, no weekly calls, no in-person masterminds, no one-on-one sessions. But you get the live coaching for 4 weeks and then access to the platform.
And we've got twice a month calls for Pro as well?
Twice a month calls for Pro. Yep. And the next, maybe if the team can find when the next session is for the accelerator, I'll be able to share that. Tanya, do you run in crypto info tax? Yeah, so we've got sessions in the platform for that. So, in the platforms, this is what you get access to on Accelerator and Platinum. You can just use the search bar and you can type in tax. And we've got a lot of tax, sessions and support here, all there, including like discounts with tax platforms and products that you can utilize as well. Here with all the tax updates here, and you get discounts on different tax providers on both.
So you got it. The 18th to 15th of Jan is cohort C, which we recommend. That's a good way to kick off the new year, I think, Ben. I'm like a lot of people. I like to get into some content towards the end of the year and really be focused coming into the new year with what I'm trying to achieve. If not, there's also the next cohort after that kicks in on the 14th of January, and that runs to the 11th of Feb. So there's a bit of a gap there in between the two just because of Christmas holidays and whatnot.
Yeah, so this is actually the next dates for the accelerator. What delay? Yeah, so if you look here, the next cohort is kicking off December 18th through to January 15th. It's the same time for the sessions each week. And then the next cohort will be starting in January. So it'll be January 14th will be the next one. And they're limited in size. So if you are interested in that, I'd recommend getting joined up on that pretty quickly. Could you confirm your performance? Yep. So going back to this, so the performance over the last 3 cycles, 3 years. This is so financial year ended middle of this year, last 2 years, and then cumulative return there. So the last financial years, the S&P is up 64%, and my portfolio that I share has outperformed that by 8x. Now, obviously, again, previous results doesn't indicate future results by any stretch of the imagination, but this is why I'm in crypto and why we do pretty well. Welcome, Bill from the US. We've got another one, Sean from Canada. Lots of calls rolling in, which is fantastic. Looking forward to speaking with all you guys. Miriam, you haven't received an email confirmation of my booking. I'll just make sure the team can send that across. If any of the team can help out Miriam there, that'd be great. TP, do you have the platinum members you're working with move their crypto off the centralized exchanges into a cold wallet ledger and from there trade out of decentralized exchanges? Yes and no. So yes, some clients work on centralized exchanges, TP, because it's just easier for them. Some, I would recommend moving them to cold wallets. Some use decentralized exchanges, some don't. Really depends on, if you're open to it, if you want to go down that path. That's why we start off that first session, that onboarding piece. Here to build out a tailored action plan based on our conversations we have you to understand your investment goals, your background. You might not need to move it to a cold storage. Obviously, we recommend it, but we help you set that up as well, and then give you a plan where you work with us one-on-one with the right analyst to make sure you've got it all set up, and you're supported along the way. So Miriam's got it. What else we've got? Nigel. Welcome, Nigel. Fantastic. Another Bill. Keep shooting your questions, folks. So Travis and I'll keep answering them if there's still questions rolling in. Will a replay be available? Yes, we'll send out the replay after this. It'll be available for usually 2 or 3 days, and then we take it offline. So make sure you jump in and watch that if you get a chance. What platform do we use? It just depends on where you're located, Angel. So like, whether it be Coinbase, Kraken. In Australia, use different platforms like SwiftX. There's Binance. There's brokerages. Yeah, all ranges of different platforms. So yeah, it really depends, but we get you set up. Miriam, got to go. Thank you. Thanks for jumping on. Looking forward to chatting, Miriam. Welcome, Stacy from Canada. Just booked a call as well. Awesome. Can you explain lending against Bitcoin again? So there's different platforms, Tamar, that you can do this, like Block Earner in Australia. There's a bunch really, and essentially you can use your Bitcoin as collateral, and you lend against that using an over collateralized loan. Then you can cash flow it out. Obviously, a lot of risks associated with it, but yeah, that's something that is becoming more and more common that I like to do myself. Own offering 7%. No, sorry, to be clear, Sam, 7% is what I've seen. But it depends on the provider, and most are probably towards 10 and 12%. Yeah, we've got a couple of good relationships that may get it down to 7. It does change quite frequently though. I haven't seen 5. Yeah, borrowing for sure. Francesca, thanks for your time. No worries. Ross, you mentioned in your strategy you buy and hold, so avoid capital gains. Yeah, I definitely sell my altcoins, Ross. Like I'll be selling my altcoins at the top of this cycle to buy more Bitcoin. That's the goal. I only lend against my Bitcoin. I don't lend against my altcoins. Miriam, that's great. Yeah, paying for expertise is investment, 100%. It's like a property buyer's agent, same thing. Adam, using the exit strategy plan, how do you recommend we pick our exit price points? It really is a personal thing, so you decide based on where you want to put them, based on your goals. It really should align with your goals. But then obviously the hard part is like, updating the targets based on where we are in the market. So you still need updated data sources in terms of, picking those positions. But, I believe Bitcoin will get to $150,000 this cycle, hopefully higher. We'll see. And then you can kind of adjust your altcoin targets off that. But it is difficult. Yep, Dawn, the replay will be sent out. Awesome. All the calls coming in. Tamar, still confusing lending or borrowing. So you can borrow cash against your Bitcoin by using essentially platforms where you can take out debt against your asset, and that company holds custody of your assets, and you can borrow against it. But you can only take up to 33% usually of the asset you put down. On the other side, you can lend your crypto to earn a yield or return on your crypto through different platforms, and that's like staking or yield generation opportunities that you can utilize. So it's 2 different ways. Lending, borrowing, it's different depending on where you guys are located. The terminology is different. Cool. Awesome. Great to see all the calls coming in. Final questions, folks. Otherwise, we might wrap it up. David, is there a 30-day money-back guarantee? We have a 14-day money-back guarantee based on, you use the service and you actually, implement some of the, strategies and features that we have. It's different between Platinum and Accelerator. We want to make sure that everyone that comes on board, is actually doing the things that we say. And so, I think it's 14 days that you've got an opportunity to, as long as you actually follow the process and, kind of do what we say as part of your onboarding. If you come in and then just like disappear and don't do anything, well, that's not really our problem. So that doesn't include on the money back guarantee. Cool. Thomas, is there much delay in buy and sell recommendations? No, it still goes out, but sometimes like it might be a day or so before we get the full research piece. So, it's just not an alert in WhatsApp. Stephen, yes, you can do staking. You can use centralized platforms like Binance to earn a yield. Staking is native on Ethereum and Solana. And yeah, we went through that. So maybe just keep an eye out for the replay. And that's where we cover a lot of that with our platinum members. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we might wrap it up there. Thank you for everyone that's booking calls. Stacey, Nigel, Bill, Sean, Miriam, Chip, Joanne, Paul, Dawn, Anthony, heaps of calls. Awesome. Look forward to chatting, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all of your time. Thank you. Hopefully you learnt a little bit. Go away and implement it. We'd love to speak with you guys. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. You've got still a couple of days to go and book a call. We'll send out the replay as well, so you can tune back in and watch anything that you missed. Thank you so much. Can we still access your free book? Yeah, we put the link in the chat. I might, guys, if we can add the exit strategy link as well again, so if anyone missed it can get access, that'd be great. Brilliant. And looking forward to chatting soon, everyone. Thanks, Travis.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Speak soon. See you guys.